The most recent chapter of Boruto offered a bombshell reveal that we didn't expect to see. The twist was so unexpected that it almost feels like an Ultra Instinct level rip from the rear. For those who haven't read the chapter yet or are anime only, this chapter review and discussion will have some spoilers in it for the latest chapter, so do be warned.
Welcome to the Amagi! Before we begin, we publish a new video every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. Also, we just released some brand new merch. If you'd like to show your support for the channel even further while at the same time repping stylish clothing, be sure to check that out as well. The store is linked below. And with that out of the way, let's get into the video.
In this chapter of Boruto, we're further shown the true nature of Shinjutsu, and how the mixing of physical energies and spiritual energies can turn fantasy into reality. In fact, this entire chapter was dedicated to the concept, as we get to see it happen in a literal sense, and boy can I tell ya, I did not see this coming. Kishimoto masterfully wove in this twist, as we were also focused on the other aspects that we didn't expect it. In this chapter, we are shown the true power of Eida, a technique that Momoshiki Otsutsuki claimed to be the Shinjutsu of Shinjutsu, the ability to make anything reality. Through use of her abilities and her all-seeing Senrigan, she was capable of altering reality to be whatever she wanted it to be, or at least on a memory level, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's just let the manga talk for itself and we can discuss the meaning afterward. The chapter starts out above Hokage Rock, where Boruto is still communicating with the ghostly figure of Momoshiki, who hovers there with a grin of anticipation on his face. Boruto demands that Momoshiki explain what he means when he says that it's already begun and can no longer be stopped. Boruto will lose everything. Momoshiki does not elaborate further, merely stating that it has begun, just as he said, his only advice being for Boruto to prepare himself. By his side, Sasuke watches Boruto's conversation with the invisible Otsutsuki in silence. In the forests below, Shikamaru and an elite team of shinobi are hunting Kawaki, searching far and wide for any sign of his presence. He's informed by one of the sensory type ninja that they still cannot detect Kawaki's chakra signature. Shikamaru reminds his team that Kawaki is weakening though, and tells them to cast a wide net so that when he inevitably trips up, they'll catch him immediately. As the shinobi race across the forest, the new generation Ino Shikacho trio are watching, unable to believe that Kawaki would go so far. Inojin reminds them that even so, Kawaki has gone rogue and committed treasonous acts, of which, if caught, could result in his execution. Shikadai informs his squad that their jonin, Moegi, will eventually call them off of the mission for their safety, but so long as they're on the mission, they need to help. Back atop the rock, Konohamaru informs his team that they are to escort Boruto to the hospital, while Konohamaru himself and Sasuke join the hunt for Kawaki. Sarada cautions them, reminding them how dangerous Kawaki is, which Konohamaru acknowledges. As they leave, Mitsuki turns to Sarada and informs her that he too will search for Kawaki against Konohamaru's orders, and to watch Boruto in his stead. She tries to stop him, but before she can even utter a word, he's gone. She recalls to herself that one time Mitsuki mentioned his devotion to Boruto, stating that if anyone ever hurt him, there was no telling what he would do to them. Boruto calls her back to reality, telling her to go after Mitsuki as it would be too dangerous to leave him alone. Sarada mentions Boruto's eye, asking if he would be alright without her, to which he replies that he'll be fine and tells her to shake a leg or she won't be able to catch up. With that, she also rushes off to find Kawaki. In the forest, Kawaki appears, having run out of chakra. He states that he cannot maintain Sukuna Hikona any longer and begins to lose hope for his escape. Nearby, shinobi can be heard moving, asking if Kawaki's been located yet, and commanding each other to continue the search. In his tough spot, Eida witnesses this with her Senrigan and stands from the couch as Sumire and Damon notice. She states that she found Kawaki and begins to leave for the door. Damon attempts to stop her, but she takes off into the air, leaving her little brother behind. He calls out to her not to leave him behind, as she knows he can't fly yet. She ignores him though, mentioning that she will find Kawaki and protect him. Back in the forest, Shikamaru dashes. He's then contacted by Amado. Amado tells Shikamaru that he may have a way to stop Kawaki. Shikamaru tells Amado to kindly take his nose out of their business, but Amado persists. He states that there's no reason to kill Kawaki, as he has a way to peacefully subdue him. He goes on to say that he, much like with Delta, programmed a secret code into Kawaki that will allow him to shut him down, so long as he is within eye and earshot of him. The code only works in that vicinity, and only works if it's Amado's voice. Shikamaru curses Amado, losing even more faith in the man as he realizes that he's still hiding secrets. Amado then states that all he needs in return is for Konoha to leave Kawaki alone so long as he's in stasis, as he needs him for his projects. Shikamaru states that he is sympathetic to Amado's cause, and that he knows Amado needs Kawaki, but he can't allow Kawaki to simply continue on unless he yields completely, stating that so long as he remains a danger to the village, they will do everything in their power to destroy him. Shikamaru then proceeds to mute Amado as the elderly man proceeds to blow a gasket, demanding Shikamaru listen to him. In the forest, Kawaki continues to hide, keeping his chakra signature secret. He watches the other shinobi as they search nearby, but his ear is caught by another sound, a snapping twig. Turning his head in that direction, he sees Eida approaching him. She tells him to relax and that she's on his side. He questions how true that statement really is, as she is approaching him despite being unable to mask her chakra signature as he can. Eida mentions to him that regardless of whether they sense their location or not, Kawaki cannot escape as is and will be caught eventually, but she states that as long as she's with him, he will be safe. Sitting down, he mentions that he doesn't care. It doesn't matter if he's safe or not. He doesn't matter. All that matters is protecting Naruto and the village he loved for so long, that he cherished and helped to build up. They need to take Momoshiki down no matter what, or it will all be destroyed. He says that he can't let this persist. He needs to take Momoshiki out now before he can fully revive in Boruto, but that's what makes it so hard. He's Boruto, the son of Naruto, the 7th Hokage, and Kawaki's sworn brother. Who could do that? Who could kill the Hokage's son and get away with it? Who could throw their life and their friends away for their mission? He thinks back, a memory of Boruto stating that Kawaki has become more important to him than he realizes, and at this point he accepts him regardless of his karma seal as his true bro. But the moment he says bro, the memory is corrupted by the controlling hand of Momoshiki, whose Byakugan shines in Boruto's eye. Kawaki stands and grabs Eida, as if expecting her omnipotent eye to be able to explain it to him. Why did it have to be Boruto? Why did it have to be the Hokage's son? Why did it have to be Kawaki's brother? Why couldn't it have been a no-name shinobi, an outsider and a nobody like himself? Somebody whose death wouldn't matter, whose life wouldn't be missed. Someone like him. Eida asks him not to speak of himself so grimly, but he shakes her further, asking her to use her omniscient powers of perception to see him as he truly is. He's not a god, and he's not a prince. He's a piece of garbage that doesn't matter, and would have been the one out of the two of them better off to be possessed and slated for execution. She grabs onto Kawaki's face, the power of their hopes and wishes taking form as a thick aura surrounds them. As they continue to embrace, Kawaki slowly becomes more and more confused, as the light generated from them begins to expand further and further, becoming brighter and brighter until a massive pillar of light appears from the forest. Sasuke, Konohamaru, Shikamaru, Sarada, Mitsuki, and all nearby shinobi witness this light and wonder what it is. The pillar of light grows taller and wider as Eida and Kawaki hover in the air, only a menacing hum filling the area. The true power of her Senrigan awakened, Kawaki looks on, startled by what she's doing. Suddenly, a ring of light shoots out from the pillar in all directions. It passes over the forest, over the village, over Damon, who knows that it's Eida's power. It passes over the lake and past the house where Sumire is present. It passes over the entire land of fire. It continues to expand until it covers the entire planet with its light. Eventually, the light dissipates and Eida falls to the ground on top of Kawaki, having lost all of her strength. He calls to her to wake up, and when she does, she's startled by the fact that she's lying atop him. She stumbles back in embarrassment. Suddenly, the Leaf Shinobi find Kawaki and Eida. Boruto, on his way to the hospital, witnesses the light and can't help but look back, wondering what happened. Behind him, Momoshiki appears with a sneer, realizing that it's all over now. Boruto has lost everything, and he'll soon wish to die, allowing Momoshiki to take over his body. The shinobi ask what they're doing there. Kawaki forms a weapon out of his hand and attempts to attack, but Eida stops him, telling him that something's wrong. Shikamaru takes in the information, asking what Kawaki is doing 12 clicks east of the stone faces, and the shinobi don't know themselves. One of the sensory ninja then report that Boruto's chakra signature was detected 3 clicks west of the Hokage monument. Both Shikamaru and Sasuke stop to turn around and chase him down. Sarada wonders why it was important to mention Boruto's location, and wonders if something has happened to him. She looks to Mitsuki and asks him to go with her to find Boruto. Boruto looks back at Momoshiki as the latter relishes the moment. Momoshiki asks Boruto how it feels to lose everything, and Boruto asks what's going on. Momoshiki tells him to look behind him. In doing so, he sees Sarada and Mitsuki coming. Coming to a stop, Boruto looks at them with confusion, trying to determine what's happening. Sarada also asks what the heck is going on, but Mitsuki removes his forehead protector and tells Sarada to step aside, and that Boruto is dangerous. Both of them are confused at Mitsuki's words. Mitsuki enters his sage mode and tells Boruto that he has truly angered him. As Sarada and Boruto try to get Mitsuki to explain, the shinobi with Kawaki and Eida sends 2 of his subordinates heads out after Boruto. He then proceeds to ask how Kawaki's eye wound healed so quickly. Kawaki is utterly confused, but Eida takes control of the situation, stating that Kawaki is okay, and what's important is that they find Kawaki's father, the 7th Hokage. The shinobi states that they didn't find him, only mentioning that Boruto had done something to him. At long last, Kawaki understands the situation. Meanwhile, Mitsuki confronts Boruto, asking him what he did with Naruto. Boruto asks Mitsuki to explain what he means, but Mitsuki refuses, merely stating that Boruto does not plan to talk. Immediately, in his head, Boruto hears Momoshiki's voice, telling him to jump into the tree limbs. Boruto does so, just barely avoiding a horde of chakra snakes coming out of the ground. Sarada begs Mitsuki to stop, but he refuses, saying that Boruto has refused multiple warnings and has thus forfeited his own life. Sarada refuses to understand how Mitsuki can attack Boruto. Momoshiki tells Boruto that if he wishes to live, he needs to run, as Mitsuki, along with the other shinobi of the village, are planning to kill him. He mentions that this is the true power of Eida's charm ability, an ability known as Omnipotence, an ability she has no control over. Boruto questions this and just narrowly dodges another one of Mitsuki's attacks. He continues to flee as Momoshiki expounds upon it further. He states that Omnipotence is a power that only a god can use, the most powerful of all shinjutsu. He likens it to manipulating the coding of the very fabric of the universe, and that what this ability does is recode the universe to make anything reality. He states that this ability is not something that any girl can possess, anyone without Otsutsuki DNA. He states that the curse of her charm ability is a passive effect of omnipotence that allows her deepest subconscious desires to become a reality. He states that Amado couldn't have known what this ability truly was, and that he likely just identified it as Shinjutsu, which is understandable. He mentions though that this reality isn't what Eida wants. This is what Kawaki desires. It's Kawaki's desires becoming reality. He used Eida's ability to achieve his desires, a desire to be Boruto, to switch places with him. Back in the forest, Shikamaru contacts Eida and states that they're having trouble locating Naruto and Hinata. He tells her to see if she can use her power to see anything that happened. She states that she can, but there's no guarantee that anything will become of it. Kawaki then gets her attention and tells her to tell them that Naruto is dead and that Boruto killed him. Boruto continues to question Momoshiki, asking him what he meant when he said that he and Kawaki had switched positions. Momoshiki states that people's memories have been altered. Any common knowledge about Boruto and Kawaki has been changed. Returning to the concept of Ninshu, Momoshiki states that everyone's consciousness is connected through chakra. However, instead of being used to understand each other, this ability has been used to alter memories en masse, something quite trivial for a god. Momoshiki mentions quite abruptly that Boruto should consider that this may have happened to humankind before, their memories manipulated. So that's what's up with all those Mandela effects. Anyways, Momoshiki continues by saying that the ability cannot affect other Otsutsuki or Eida the caster. He also mentions that for some odd reason, Sarada is not affected by this ability either. He does state that this isn't a mercy though, as he has seen those who are immune that suffer in the new world created by omnipotence the most. He further states that as far as the world knows, Kawaki is an Uzumaki and the son of Naruto and Hinata, born in Konoha, and that Boruto is just a regular boy, an outsider, and a target for the Hokage's assassination. And that is where the chapter ends. As I said earlier, this entire chapter caught me by surprise. This is the wonderful nature of the flash forward, and proves that it was masterfully used, as with each new chapter, a new puzzle piece is dropped, and that a totally different view of the events we see is told. Now that we see everything that Boruto is in the future, we know that Sasuke will likely come to Boruto's side, likely through the help of Sarada. However, being hunted by the village and the world for a second time, especially as he's growing older, lost an eye and an arm, he's partially hobbled, and with the world flat out power cliffing him after the end of Shippuden, Sasuke's survival rate drops, and the circumstances of his possible death shift and begin to make more sense. Furthermore, it seems that Kawaki's plan will more than likely be the same as it was for Sasuke, who would plan to take over as Hokage and create a new village with new rules as shinobi, just as the parallel is intended to be used. However, the circumstances of this flash forward would become even more troublesome to understand, as we now know that Kawaki would not wish to hurt the village, but protect it, due to how Naruto cherishes and loves it. But in the flash forward, we see that it's destroyed, so either Kawaki decided that it wasn't that important, or there is a third party here that we don't see. Is Boruto still possessed by Momoshiki at this time? Or is it possible that he's completely separate now? It seems possible that he's separate, as Kawaki offers to send Boruto to where he sent Naruto, meaning Boruto is no longer on Kawaki's hit list. This means that whatever caused him to be on it is resolved, and that means Momoshiki is gone. If Kawaki is sending Boruto to the place where Naruto is, the timeless realm of Daikokuten, then he means to protect Boruto, and if Naruto is still there, then that means that Naruto is either a danger to himself or in danger of someone else, likely in Otsutsuki due to how prominent they are. So either Momoshiki escapes and threatens the village, or he turns comparatively good and is helping Boruto liberate the village, which explains the attack. Further, we need to contemplate the existence and possible involvement of Shibai. I know I'm talking about him a lot, but as I said, a Chekhov's gun is not a good look for any story, and now that we keep seeing more and more of his influence, it's only natural that he might appear in some capacity. It's my fervent belief that Shibai is either Amado or Amado's boss. Amado, if he isn't Shibai, is at least Otsutsuki. My beliefs on this come quite a bit from everything we know of him. Amado understands what Shinjutsu are, and while he may have worked under Ishiki, another Otsutsuki, it is still true that his knowledge on them is Otsutsuki level, and not something you can just pick up from studying them. He's managed to somehow isolate specific Kekai Genkai, or at this point is it Kekai Mora, but he has managed to figure out a way to pass them along to others. The existence of Eida and Damon at all is a sign that something is wrong with Amado. But the strongest piece of evidence is not that he created them, but that he's not affected by them. As explained before, everyone is affected by Eida's omnipotence. It takes the form of charm, and anyone who sees her becomes infatuated. Even reserved characters like Shikamaru cannot hide their infatuation as much as they try. And it is that infatuation that stops anyone from taking any negative actions against her. The only people immune are Otsutsuki and the caster, with a rare exception such as Sarada and Sumire, both of whom are unaffected by the ability at all. This likely means that while we didn't see her afterwards, Sumire likely remembers that Boruto is still Naruto's son. But then what about Amado? We know that he must be immune because he's taken negative action against her in the past. Remember, he was responsible for shutting her and Damon down when Ishiki was threatened by them. Even that much of an action should be a bit much for anyone. And on the train ride back from the Kara base, Amado showed no signs of interest in her, seeming more annoyed with her than in love with her, even using her and manipulating her against Code for his own benefit. This insinuates that he, like few others, are unaffected by her charm, meaning he's either one of the rare cases that even Momoshiki can't explain, or he is Otsutsuki. And given the fact that he knows so much about Shibai, it is possible, if not likely, that he either was Shibai or the Otsutsuki aide that came to Earth with him. Just as Momoshiki had Kinshiki and Ishiki had Kaguya, maybe Shibai had Amado. But Amado doesn't have an Iki at the end of his name, so who knows. But let's move on to another talking point I had. That is the effects of the knowledge of omnipotence. This technique has never been witnessed before. However, Momoshiki made mention of the possibility that such a technique had been used on mankind, not only once, but many times. Of course, we can account for his talk of an Otsutsuki that became a god to mean Kaguya, who took the chakra fruit for herself, became a godlike being, and then erased everyone's memories of what she had done. However, I don't see this as being the answer, as the only time an Otsutsuki has been shown to utilize such a technique was Kaguya, and she was the only one known to have become a god in the People of Earth sense. But Momoshiki made me think that this has happened more than once. This, to me, likely means that Shibai appeared on Earth sometime after the age of Hagoromo. I could possibly pin it down to the Warring States period, and became a god, manipulating people's memories. Now, why did I pick the Warring States period of all places? Well, specifically because the period has not been explored too much. The era between Hagoromo's time and the founding of Konoha is sparse in details, with it being mentioned that even the Senju and Uchiha forgot why they were fighting. Of course, we can continue to blame the curse of hatred on the war, but that would include the Senju as well, who were just as bitter and were not affected by the curse due to not being Uchiha. The utter bitterness on both sides, yet inability to remember how and why they were fighting, leads me to believe that Shibai influenced them. He likely planted another god tree and devoured the chakra fruit. And before you ask, I don't think doing so would destroy the earth, as even though Kaguya had a 10 tails and a chakra fruit, the earth survived, meaning it is possible for Shibai to do the same. Either way, Momoshiki mentioned that humankind's memories had been altered by the Otsutsuki who had become a god in the past, meaning that there likely is a good bit more Otsutsuki running around in the series that we don't know about, many of which are likely far more powerful than anything we've seen so far. But that's just what I think. I'm dying to hear what you think. Do you think there were more Otsutsuki running around that we've yet to meet? What do you think about the time skip? What are your interpretations on everything Momoshiki said?
Did you enjoy our video? Well, then be sure to check out these other great videos from the Amagi, and make sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.